Mr. Chuks Nwachukwu here with us, a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
So much has been said about different things, but let's start off from where Mr. Shobo left off. He was speaking about the clamor for restructuring and how they thought the National Assembly are the ones who have a role, they say, to discuss this kind of matters. Do you think that in the light of what has been said, the role that they need to play, maybe you should tell us, what role do you think the National Assembly has got to play in all of this clamor about restructuring?
Well, the National Assembly is supposed to be representative of the opinions of the people. So if you're having large clamor all over the country for restructuring, and then the National Assembly is not taking it up, then you'll find that you now question who exactly that they are representing. If the people they are representing are clamoring for restructuring and they are not responding to that clamor, then you find a disconnect. And what happens is that the National Assembly becomes distanced and discredited in the minds of the people as a political tool for bringing about change. Or
is that in consideration of when they say it means different things to different people, so everyone is not on the same page about what exactly it does mean? How then will they be discredited in the minds of the people?
Yes. Now, how they, I mean, they had responded. There was a motion for devolution of powers to states, more devolution of powers to states, and that was shut down, by the National Assembly. So that's a particular move got terminated at that point. But then when you look at the country, you see what is happening in the southeast with IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu. In the southwest, there's that large clamor for restructuring. And all over the country, I mean, even from the north, you get in Middle Belt, you get in even from the intellectual north. I'm talking about people who, they feel that on ethnic basis, they're not going with the general trend in the north. They too are talking about restructuring. Somebody like the former governor from the north, Balarabe Musa, came out openly and said, except this company restructured, it was going to implode. And I think Atiku also have been in the forefront of the crusade for restructuring for a very long time. So you find out the National Assembly is setting itself against the people. So it is going to get discredited. And what happens is that once that disconnect happens, then people are not going to look to any legitimate or legal process for pressing the agitation. Now, these are human beings. There's nothing you can do about it. Once people are disaffected socially, it's about their lives. There's nothing you can do about it. The most you can do is begin to shoot people and kill them. But until you kill everybody, you're not going to, the agitation is not going to go away. So people can't stop living because of you. If people feel disaffected, they can't go on with the situation the way it is. The only thing you can do is respond to it. Agitation is always an opportunity for reform. It's not confrontation. When you look at the society, it's always turning. There's nothing static. So a government must be sensitive to know when change has caught up with it, with its own position.
So what do we need to restructure?
Yes. Right now, you have political restructuring, you have economic restructuring. Now, people are talking about political restructuring so much, but they forget the issue of economic restructuring. Economic restructuring has to do with the way the economy, what determines the economy of this country. And that basically comes to this issue of national revenue, sharing revenue. The country is run on a model where creative abilities of the people are kind of circumscribed by the fact that the government looks to one side, one product called oil as the source of revenue and begins to share out that source of revenue to everybody. And then anything you are able to make that comes to the government, it comes into that coffer and they share it to everybody, not according to, the productive ability of the people. Okay. But it's going to them more or less according to the ability to consume.
Okay, give us your impression about this conversation about hate speech and under the different categorization now. Some say there's a clause in the Terrorism Prevention Act which categorizes hate speech as terrorism, something that the military having to monitor the people is in line with that Terrorism Prevention Act. What others think?
I think that the position of the military is absolutely absurd. Why? And the absurd nature of that is what alarms me, because it shows the mindset, the kind of people that we have as leaders. It's absolutely absurd. Now, the Constitution spells out the roles of the military in the country. The military has no policing powers. It's not its job. The military, we have the Army, we have the Navy, we have the Air Force. And their duties are there. They are for armed conflict. The person writing on the internet is not armed conflict. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if he has offended any law, it is the job of the police. And if you feel the law has to do with national security, you have intelligence services. Do you understand? You have intelligence services that can take care of that. When intelligence services apprehend the person, then they will try him. They will hand him over to the police and he'll be tried according to law. It's got nothing to do with the military. So that the military are talking, getting involved in this, it's alarming by the degree of absurdity. That's what makes it alarming. These will have no job, have no concept of what they have to do. And these will think that, they can release fear on the people. They think their job is to release fear on the people. Now, fear itself is hate speech. The whole purpose of hate speech is to release fear. They are terrorizing the people. The military is coming out to terrorize Nigerians by the military, because they have nothing to do with what they're talking about, except terror. The only thing that the military can manifest in this instance is terror. It has no legal powers to arrest anybody for hate speech. It cannot shoot somebody because of hate speech. You can't say because somebody is engaging in hate speech, then you shoot him down. So what are your involvement is for no other purpose than to release terror.
Even if
terrorize.
So they can't cite the Terrorism Act or Terrorism Prevention Act whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's got nothing to do with them. It's got nothing to do with them.
But is this the first world over to see that the army is taking a stance on trying to contain terrorist speech or wrong speech?
There's nothing wrong in trying to contain hate speech.
Oh, okay.
Nothing wrong with that. It is the process. You must have the legal instrument to do that,
all right,
which clearly defines hate speech and the way and manner you can apprehend.
We'll get your point.
Somebody for that.
Mr. Chuks Nwachukwu, legal practitioner, thank you for coming on today. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.